If you've been following along from the beginning, we've now set up user practices that help your site be more secure, simply by making sure that you are accessing your site in a secure way. Now that that's out of the way, we're going to look at how we can make WordPress itself more secure by hardening the WordPress core. Now, we're no longer talking about WordPress itself, but rather how WordPress is running on the server, and in particular how people can access the content of WordPress on the server. If you think about it, WordPress is just a set of folders and files that sit on a server somewhere on the web. And that means, theoretically, anyone could probably gain access to these files by simply putting in the correct URL to target that file or that folder and then see what's inside it. And you want to avoid this at all costs, because if some really clever person was able to somehow get access to either the WP includes folder or the WP config.php file, they might be able to do something bad to your site. So what we're going to do now is add extra code to the server configuration file so that if someone manages somehow to find the address to the WP includes folder or to the WP config file, they'll be redirected out again. So they will never be able to access these files or that folder. To do this, we need to make a change to the server access file. And on Apache servers, which is the most common server that you have WordPress hosted on, that file is called .htaccess. Now here we're going to do some coding, and this is fairly complex coding too. So to keep you sane, I provided some lesson files with this course that have all the code snippets you need. If you haven't already done so, you should go to the course page and download the free lesson files, then extract them onto your desktop, and you end up with a folder called lesson files. And if you open that folder, you'll have inside it another folder called code snippets. And within that, you have a standard web page that you can open in your browser. This web page consists of a simple menu that takes you to the individual movies for this chapter. So right now we're at 3.1, and here we have the code that we're going to use. And we're going to use this code verbatim, no matter what your settings are. But like I said, this code goes into a file called .htaccess. So first we need to find that file. The htaccess file is a file created by WordPress or by the server that allows the server to rewrite URLs as they come in. That means instead of having these really cryptic server-based URLs like /= p = question 256, you have nice human-readable URLs. When you log into your server through FTP or SFTP or Git or something else, you should see a file named .htaccess somewhere inside the core installation of WordPress. If you don't see that file, I'll show you how to create it. Simply go to your WordPress site, navigate to Settings, and Permalinks, and from here, change the setting from default to postname. This will tell WordPress to create an htaccess file and then add in the necessary code for these human-readable URLs to take place. This is something you should do on any WordPress site regardless, so if you haven't already done so and you don't have an htaccess file, now you should do it. When you click Save Changes, this will create that htaccess file. And once you have it, you can download it onto your computer, so you end up with what I have here, and then you can open it in any text editor. So I'm going to open it in Edge Code, but you can open it in any text editor you want, because we're just adding basic text here. Looking at the .htaccess file, you'll notice this is not PHP or HTML or anything else. This is regular expression. So this is a server-based language, and it can be a bit clunky to read. The good thing is, what we're doing here is just adding some basic standard code, and we're just going to add the same bulk of code regardless. And WordPress has already added some code, and it's nicely marked here with a hash that says begin WordPress and another hash that says end WordPress. So what we're going to do is add our code before this hash, because anything within this begin and end is things that WordPress can change later. But outside, WordPress will just leave it alone. Now, depending on your host, you may also have some extra lines of code. For example, something like order, allow, deny, allow from all, or order, allow, or order, deny, deny. It all depends on the server you're on. So if you see anything else in the htaccess file, just leave it alone and make some space below whatever content is already there and before begin WordPress. Now what we're going to do is go back to the code snippets and find the snippet for movie 3.1 and simply paste it in. So I'll just grab all of this except for begin WordPress there, copy it, and paste it in. Now this block of code blocks access to the include-only files, meaning you can see here we're targeting the wp-admin folder and the folder under there called includes, as well as the wp includes folders. And this is where all the advanced functionality of WordPress sits, and this is a prime target for hackers if they want to insert malicious code into your site. So what these rewrite rules do is they redirect any traffic coming from the web that's trying to gain access to any of these folders and sends them back to the root folder on the site, meaning the front page of the site. That way, no one can tunnel into the core files within WordPress itself and add malicious code to that set of files. Now that you've added this to your site, you need to save the file, upload it back up to your host, and immediately try to log into your site, going first to the front end of the site and then to the back end of the site, just to make sure you still have access. Because in some really rare cases, adding this code may actually take your site down because the security settings get too high. But in 99.9% of the cases, this will change nothing for you, but it'll make it much harder for people to gain access to the site. Now that you've seen how we can use the htaccess file, in the next movie, we'll use the same type of code to add even more security to our site by protecting some other files.